I know I will end up somewhere. I do not know where. I was at an MUN. Please do not judge me. We all have a past. I was at an MUN. I was like 14. And I saw a really hot guy like walk past me. And I was like, oh, he's hot. And I was like, oh, do I think he's hot? It's like, yes, I think he's very hot. Wait, if I think he's hot and if I think girls are hot, must mean I'm bi. And I was like, oh, I'm bi. By virtue of how difficult it is to be queer, how incredible that is sometimes. Like, it's pretty great, you know? So if I was to approach something in a very Pakistani way, or if I was thinking about a situation in Urdu, the thought process in that language that would take place in my head would be a very just go for it one, very emotional one. It would come from the heart. But if I'm thinking through a situation in English, it would be very like well thought out, very deconstructed. Urdu is so intangible. It's metaphors, it's suggestion, it's a language that alludes to things but doesn't really say them most of the time. English is very direct, very to the point, very pragmatic. It is I think I think that's reflected kind of in how like back home in Pakistan we treat these languages. English is the official working language because it is a language that you work in. And Urdu is the national language because you write poetry in Urdu because that is a language that poetry is kind of made for. It was May of junior year of high school and I don't know, like I would write a lot and my friends liked some of it, so I decided, you know, what the heck, I'll put it up. And it started off as an anonymous account because a lot of what I write about is intensely private and I didn't want people knowing. But then it slowly grew and then I began to actually get good at writing. So when I started I was terrible and then I began to be less terrible. And then I remember writing this one poem. It was actually a piece of prose about what it's like to be both Muslim and queer in Pakistan. And that poem blew up. So just overnight became a massive, massive, massive thing. I've only ever taken down 2 poems, and those were about this one boy who kind of screwed me over. But then I put them back up again. And I think if I start taking down stuff that's bad, I'll start taking everything down because I truly do believe that everything I do write is bad. So it's just a lot of self-control. Like the amount of times I wanted to archive my entire feed. But yeah, I think at one point you just realize that it's okay. Like, it's okay if this piece is bad, or it's okay if this piece reminds me of a time of my life, because these are things that I have written and I should own up to them. There's this fruit that only grows in the subcontinent and it's called a falsa. A falsa is a very small round ball, pinkish and purplish. Falsas have this thing where when they're ripen at first, they're very hard. And as you bite down on them, they're very sour, in the best way possible. If you leave a falsa out on your kitchen cabinet for a night, it will soften and it will turn very, very, very sweet. So I'd like to be a falsa. I think you can just occupying both those things. Best of both worlds.